Well, of course, the city of Brussels is home to many bodies that make up the European Union, including, of course, the elected European Parliament. The building which MEPs are based in for much of their time is actually just a few minutes' walk from where a third bomb exploded in Maalbeek an hour after the first attacks took place in Zaventem Airport at the edge of the city. Well, Sajjad Karim is a Conservative MEP for North West England and joins us now. Good morning to you. What's the mood like in Brussels this morning?
Well, good morning. Brussels, I'm seeing, is actually reawakening. It's not the sort of hustle and bustle of activity you would ordinarily see, but there is quite clearly a feeling of defiance, and I get the impression that people are wanting to ensure that Brussels gets back up on its feet and back to its normal self as soon as it possibly can.
How has it actually affected the business of the European Parliament and indeed other institutions in the city?
Well, yesterday, once the bombings had taken place, so far as normal business in the European Parliament is concerned, that had to come to a halt. There was, of course, very real security risks, which meant that the entire area within which the EU institutions, including the Parliament, are based, was effectively sealed off and came into complete lockdown. So, in effect, business could not carry on in the way that we are used to. And I suspect that that will be the case for a number of days yet.
Security has been stepped up in many European countries now. Is this elevated threat level something that actually we just need to get used to from now on, do you think?
Well, I think it's absolutely clear that so far as this grouping that identifies itself as ISIS is concerned, they have made it very clear that they can strike in Europe at will at a time of their choosing. They clearly are very well resourced and have the ability to carry out very heinous crimes in the way that they have done here, huge terrorist attacks, completely at will and very sophisticated. And therefore, from a security perspective, we have got to respond to the level of threat that is before us. And the only way that we can properly ensure that citizens are protected is by making sure that the level of threat that we face receives a proper security response. So I'm afraid for some time we are just going to have to bear with security services when they give us advice of imminent attacks that needs to be adhered to and responded to in the most serious fashion possible.
Is this going to have a bearing, do you think, on the UK's referendum on either to leave or remain in the European Union?
I think it's far too early to say at this stage. I think there was a very small minority view yesterday that was trying to turn this into arguments for the United Kingdom to leave the European Union. But I think the overall response of the British people, and it's the right response, is to say that when our neighbours are hurting, we will stand by them, and that's exactly what we did yesterday. We flew the national flag of Belgium at half-mast above Downing Street and made it abundantly clear that our thoughts today are with the victims who have paid with their lives, those who have been injured, their families, and indeed with the country of Belgium itself.
OK, thank you for your time this morning. That's Sajjad Karim, who is the Conservative member of the European Parliament for North West England.